With the new Money Fronts DLC in GTA Online, we do have some really nice background changes to go through. This includes some different fixes to annoying bugs and overall some quality of life improvements. Leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and let's get into it. To start things off, we need to go through all of the new content. I won't be spending too much time on this because we pretty much have covered this, and I'm sure that you guys have probably already explored most of these things. But for those of you who have not played this new update yet, there is a new money laundering operation where you can purchase 3 different businesses. Each of these will provide access to a different type of money making through laundering money, and these money laundering missions are technically free mode missions. The first main business that you have to purchase will be the hands-on car wash, costing $1 million unless you have GTA Plus with that discount this month. After purchasing this one, you can then purchase the 2 additional businesses, which in turn will make the money laundering process just a little bit easier. We do have the Higgins Helitolls business and then the Smoke on Water business. You can also see that these things will also have different increases. For example, if you have a car wash and you also have a counterfeit cash factory, it will increase your stock inside, in turn selling for just a little bit more cash. Whereas the Higgins Helitolls does increase the air freight cargo slightly. However, this increase is not insane if you guys are not going to source too many crates. I believe it is only a 10% extra bonus, but if you do decide to use the hangar business, completely fill it up, then this is a really good investment. And the Smoke on Water business of course increases your weed farm stock. There is another side business what you guys can also sort of take part in, and this is really similar to the taxi work and pizza deliveries. It's not too bad, but in terms of payouts and stuff, I would definitely not suggest it unless you guys get really bored. Now that we have skimmed through the main parts of this update in terms of businesses, we need to talk about some new vehicles that were added. The first one being the Overflod Suzume, which is a supercar, currently only available if you have GTA Plus. And it looks like this vehicle will be coming to everyone on June 26. I am looking forward to testing this, but I have heard it is an electric vehicle, so I do presume it will perform really similar to the Virtue, which is honestly not a bad thing. The Virtue is pretty nice. The next car we also got was the Rapid GTX, which is a sports car. So far in this DLC, this is my favorite one. It also has these really different wing mirrors, and you can make them stick out just a little bit more. I know that a lot of people probably won't like this, but I don't mind it. It definitely looks different. The Karen Woodlander SUV is also a new car or vehicle, and this one can have the HSW upgrades. I have not tested this one personally yet, so I'm not exactly sure how fast this will be, but I did test drive this at Simeon's Auto Shop, and yeah, I really wasn't too impressed. And probably my second favorite vehicle here is the Ubermax Sentinel GTS, which is another sports car. If you remember back to them medical delivery missions, the ones that are really similar to taxi work, you will get to use this Sentinel GTS. So maybe if you guys wanted to test it or something, that would be a really good place to start. And that is what I did, and honestly, I will probably end up purchasing this vehicle. It genuinely did feel that good, really fast for a non-HSW vehicle. We then have a sedan called the Anis Hardy. You can also find this at Simeon's Auto Shop if you wanted to test drive it. And just seeing the vehicle inside Simeon's Auto Shop, it really does remind me of the Elegy Retro Custom. I don't know if it's the bodywork of it or something. Unfortunately, it does not really handle the same, but still quite close and honestly not a bad drive. Next is the Karen Everon RS, another SUV. I wasn't even going to bother using this, but it turns out one of the missions in the new business has you guys sort of steal this vehicle, so you can get a pretty good idea if it is good or not. And after playing through that mission a few more times and getting the opportunity to test this, I think the Everon RS is surprisingly good, and at some point I could definitely see myself picking one up. And finally, the most expensive thing on this entire new vehicles list will be the Western Police bike. If you guys take a trip over to the Warstock website, you will see this ridiculous price. It also does have a trade price if you wanted to do that, but even then you are still paying upwards of $3 million. I did in fact buy this just to get that new outfit, which is attached to this, and that is pretty much the only reason I would say that you should buy it. Other than that, it is such a waste of money. And just remember, if you do buy these things, specifically the emergency vehicles and law enforcement vehicles, they cannot be resold for any cash. Now that we have covered all of the new vehicles so far, we need to talk about some returning vehicles. If you guys have seen some different event weeks where Rockstar add in some of the removed vehicles, it looks like they are now all returning, and not only are they returning, but they are also bringing along the Missile Lock-on Jammer upgrade. So we can see on this list there is some pretty nice cars, even some bikes. One of the bikes that really stood out to me was the standard Hakachu. I feel like this one has been removed from in-game websites for such a long time. time, so it's really nice to see this finally returning. The Pro-Gen Tyrus as well, this used to be one of my favorite cars a few years ago. Obviously we do have a lot better cars now, but still I'm happy to see this. One thing that Rockstar do not mention here is which vehicles have been removed in place of these ones. This is what they tend to do every so often now, is add back all of these removed vehicles, but then take out some of the other ones, which can be kind of frustrating. Along with these cars returning, we also have another set amount of vehicles, which also have the missile lock-on jammer upgrade. The ones that instantly stand out to me were the Evizcerate, or the Devastate, and the Cayo Drag. Obviously these ones do have that HSW upgrade, and I would especially say this is worth it on the Cayo Drag. Obviously you are more vulnerable on a bike, especially in public sessions, so it just makes sense to finally have the missile lock-on jammer on this. Feel free to look through this list and see which vehicles you want to get. Maybe you already have some of them, and maybe just fear driving them out of your garage in public sessions. Now you should be able to do that if you put on the missile lock-on jammer. Just before we move on, another vehicle that stood out to me was the Karen Kuruma. Unfortunately, this is only the standard Kuruma and not the armored one. I really wish it was the armored Kuruma. Obviously, both Kurumas don't have any explosive resistance, so it would have been nice to see that on both of them. I'm still happy that we get it on the standard one though. At this point in the video, we now have a bunch of experience improvements and economy updates. Now, I really don't want to read through all of these because there is just so many of them. I will definitely read through the first few main talking points. For example, this first one here is the economy updates to the Arena Wars content, which has been permanently doubled for this AP reward. If you guys have played the Arena Wars before, you'll have probably seen how slow these AP rates were. So now that they are permanently doubled, you might be able to actually level up in Arena War, unlock some different things. Another really nice change was the fact that players can now choose to skip a lot of different cutscenes throughout GTA Online that take place during missions, but you can only do this if you have seen the cutscenes before. I wonder if we could skip the Clucking Bell cutscenes. I believe there is a couple of them which are just a bit too long. Maybe even the Cayo heist cutscenes as well. That would be really interesting, and potentially it could save you guys time and potentially make you more money in the long run. Another pretty nice change is the countdown before the global signal is sent out. So when you guys are selling different business stock, no one in the session will get alerted for a set amount of time. This has now been increased to 60 seconds, which I think is a nice change. It will probably encourage a lot more players to sell in public sessions. The next change underneath this is arguably my favorite overall, and it will be the post-op van delivery missions being completely removed. I also think this works well with them boosts by purchasing the car wash and the smoke and water shop. The MC cell missions are obviously still annoying, but now they also have that time limit increase as well, up to 45 minutes. So I think they are definitely worth it. A lot more doable now than previously, where we would only have 30 minutes and have to deliver 4 post-up vans. Now, all of these things underneath this now are pretty basic stuff and just general fixes, so I really don't want to go through them all and completely bore you guys, but I would definitely recommend that you go over to this website linked below in the description and check all of this other stuff out for yourself. There's a lot of different fixes to some different bugs where people were falling under the map and stuff. Maybe some vehicles weren't spawning in or something. I also saw somewhere in here that the Oscar Guzman Flies Again missions payout would sometimes not give you guys the correct money and was awarding less than expected. So I wonder if this was affecting everyone or just a select amount of players. That will be really interesting. I will probably end up playing it again at some point. As I'm scrolling down here, you can just see how many changes there were. Another notable change in my opinion was to them RC vehicles that you can call through your interaction menu. I believe it now has a cooldown of 5 minutes. The RC Bandito and the Invade and Persuade tank can now also be disrupted by EMP blasts, which is a really nice addition because I still remember when I played in public sessions a lot, the RC Bandito and the Invade and Persuade tanks were pretty much abused most of the time. So it's good to see that they have a 5-minute requesting cooldown and can also be affected by EMPs. But yeah, that's pretty much it for all of these background changes. I once again suggest that you guys check out the website, scroll all the way down and look through the list yourself. There is a lot of different things. The final thing that I really wanted to go through in this video was the fact that Rockstar also said that there is plenty more coming to GTA Online in the weeks and months ahead. They go on to say including 6 more vehicles arriving next week, a new gig as a transporter of high value goods, and more. So this will be obviously the drip fed content, most likely arriving in the next event week on June 26. Rockstar also say here that there is some jam-packed events coming up, obviously Independence Day, which will be very soon, and 2 adventurous modes set on Cayo, new drift capable vehicles, law enforcement focused community challenges, Halloween Halloween celebrations, and much more on the horizon. To talk about these two adventurous modes set on Cayo Perico, we did actually get a leak of this on Twitter or X, and I thought this was pretty cool, so I just wanted to show you guys what this sort of looks like, at least one of the modes. It will be a new zombie mode on Cayo Perico, so shout out to this guy who shared this. It looks like it was pulled from the game files or something, and this will be the ending cutscene of when you escape. Now obviously it does look a little bit scuffed, but still I think this could be an absolutely insane survival or adversary mode. We obviously don't really know what this is, but based on zombies and the amount of people inside this jet that we can see, which is 4 in total, I would definitely say that this is a survival mode, and I cannot wait for this to come out. But yeah, that will do it for this entire video. If you guys went on to enjoy this or found it useful, be sure to leave a like. I always appreciate your support. And if you are new here and like what you see, subscribe and hit that bell icon to never miss a video. Finally guys, stay safe, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.